He is the child who lives inside a shell, in a world where he draws its features on his own and refuses to share it with someone other than him. He stutters, speaks at a late age, or does not ameliorate his visual and social communication. He likes stereotyping and repeats insane behaviors, rejects renewal and change. He is a child with an autistic disorder. At a time when autistic children are struggling with their social and psychological isolation, their families suffer the consequences of this disorder at the school level, in addition to society's perception, as well as the high financial expenses required to improve the behavior of these children. Autism spectrum disorder is a neurodevelopmental condition that may develop in a child around birth time, with characteristics that affect many areas of a child's development and can change over time. Both children and adults can have ASD, and its associated difficulties cut across many areas of a person's daily functioning.
A loophole of suffering, it is like going in circles through an endless dark cave full of difficulties with no light. Saida's first suffering lies in the discovery of her child's autism a few years ago, when she noticed that her child was repeating movements of his head and body constantly before she realized that he was late in pronouncing the word mama, unlike other children similar to his age. The main problem that stood in my way is my son's schooling, as I could find a school for my child only after great difficulty.
In a statement to Barlaman Today, counselor and psychotherapist Hisham Lefu highlights that the topic of autism is a topic that we have become hearing about every beginning of a new school season, as children whose disorder is escalating are refused access to private schools. We are talking about inclusive education, a new term in the pedagogical engineering of the education and training system, which was largely absent in previous years. A child suffering from physical or other compulsion was never able to attend public or private schools. Lefu recalls that there is a memorandum of 2021 issued by the former Minister of National Education, Vocational Training, Higher Education and Scientific Research, Said Amzazi, in addition to Law 1751, which emphasized that children with certain disorders have the full right to access any institution, whether it's public or private. Memorandum number 2124, dated in March, was sent by former Minister Said Amzazi to the directors of academies as well as private institutions. It served as a reminder of the mandatory application of Law 1751, which imposes on institutions to integrate all learners regardless of their degree of disability. Therefore, these institutions are obliged to provide all mechanisms of employment to attract these children and prepare the appropriate decent environment for them. To shed some lights on the integration of these children, Barlaman Today knocked on different schools' doors, seeking only answers and truth, and roads took us to Muhammad Rihani School.
Located in Saleh, Muhammad Rihani School began integrating children suffering from autism and other mental disorders. Each class contains 1 or 2 autistic children. Meanwhile, instructors are obliged to prepare a unique project plan, as well as tests suitable for every autistic child that would meet his needs. Such tasks consume a lot of time and energy from teachers, but generally speaking, the children manage to follow their program. Khutwa Khutwa Association provide an educational and significant social role where it takes care of children and accompanies them through disabilities they face in order to integrate them in the ordinary life.
Mr. Lwardi Lehsen, director of Muhammad Rihani School, brings us closer to the matter. The association supports children with disorders, including autism, in Muhammad Rihani School. After a follow-up period with each child, chances are children will be able to integrate in normal classes. However, during the visits of the Minister of Family and Solidarity, accompanied by the Minister of Education Shakib bin Musa in September, both ministers did not agree with separating autistic children from normal classes. Yet, it is not possible to integrate them with other children due to their constant behaviors that can be dangerous for both themselves and other children. especially if they're not supervised by school life assistant. The latter is specialized in assistant children with mental disorders and autism, where every 3 children are treated by a specialist teacher.
In addition to the school director's statements, Mrs. Lamri, the association director, added the following: every child has the right to go to school and to be welcomed by society, no matter how advanced is his condition. Difference does not mean exclusion. The creation of the association and the partnership with the Muhammad Rihani School had allowed Salit autistic children to access to all spaces, including normal classes, if the situation of the child allowed. The follow-up of children must occur at an early age, approximately 2.5 and 3 years old, so that specialists can better accompany them. Those who get diagnosed late tend to find more difficulties and their situation becomes more complicated to get treatment. Once children become able to join a normal class, they can finally be assisted by school assistants who are paid by parents. This possibility depends on their financial situation. The problem arises at the judicial level, since the sector of educational assistance for autistic children is an unregulated sector, with no charter work planned to avoid possible problems, let alone the AVS receive almost no training in the field, apart from a few centers like Al-Manar Center in partnership with AXA Insurance Company. And the fact that most of AVCs does not deposit any diploma or certificate to their regional educational prosecution to prove their capability, but only sign a commitment.